Dan Richardson, who is a patron and bought a little time on the show, asked us to pass along some reminders for dog owners during the hot summer months. I'm a dog owner. I love my dog. These are pretty important tips.
Hey, here's one. If you can put your hand on the sidewalk before you take your dog out for a walk, if you can't keep your hand there for 5 seconds without pulling it off because it's too hot, it's probably too hot for your dog too.
Yeah.
So don't take your dog for a walk if you can't do the 5-second test.
All their little paws.
Thanks, Dan, for keeping dogs safe through our show.
Just picture them trying to keep all their paws off the ground, and they can't do it because you can only lift a couple at a time because they're dogs. It's cute, but it's not safe. I don't trust it, but my laziness outweighs my distrust.
Yeah. Every time.
This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. Man, old people and technology, am I right? Am I right, though? You know, there are all these studies. We see these all the time. We're too dependent on technology. We're too linked to our technology. Technology is destroying humanity. But then on the flip side...
The robots are after me.
Oh, no. Using my iPhone is making me less of a human being. Shut up, Grandpa, and download Bitmoji because it is the best way to communicate with anybody else.
We've moved beyond words.
We don't need words now.
Why do we need words?
I have a little cartoon me that says things like, deal with it.
Yeah.
That's all I need to do to talk to people.
Yeah, look at how exasperated he is.
Yeah, he's just like, that's how I look right now. It's amazing. There's a big divide between philosophies. Some people say like, hey, technology is just making us better. Humans are just evolving. Some people say, maybe we're evolving or maybe we're destroying what humanity is.
I'm in both camps. Sometimes one, sometimes the other. I know, I'm indecisive that way, but...
I mean, that's fine because that's the kind of measured way to look at it is there are some effects of this thing that are bad. There are some effects that are good. But people tend to look for the bad, I've found, more than they tend to look for the good. Looking for the bad gets you grants, gets your papers published, gets you written up in a lot of places. There's a story that was sent to us by Sorio21 on our subreddit. That's wehaveconcerns.reddit.com about iPhone separation anxiety.
Oh.
And how...
Is that when my iPhone gets really sad that it hasn't seen me in a while?
Yeah, that's when Siri's just like quietly in the other room going, Jeff? Jeff?
Just shut the door. She'll get over it. The best thing
Jeff,
is you have
it's
to
dark.
You have to let her just cry it
Jeff,
out.
I'm lonely.
For a few nights, and then she'll learn.
Ow. I hurt myself.
Siri.
Ow.
You're fine. You're fine.
Jeff.
Would you like the directions to somewhere, Jeff? Please.
Jeff, do you need to know what movie times are?
I have temperatures of all your favorite cities here.
Jeff, and if I don't have those things, I have a pre-programmed response. 9 out of 10 times I have a pre-programmed response that's kind of pithy. Jeff?
I know what song you're listening to. I can tell you the artist and release date.
Jeff! So this is an article about iPhone separation anxiety, which is the other way around. It's how we feel when we're removed from our iPhones. Or... whatever mobile phone we tend to use.
Right.
And the deal is there's supposedly a mental stress that goes along with being away from your phone, that goes with being separated from your phone, that actually messes with your cognitive abilities. We cannot think as well without our technology anymore because we're so used to it.
For us to get completely addicted to our phones.
Seems like it just happened. Seems like it happened real quick. And the deal is they ran 2 tests to show this. They basically gave somebody a word puzzle. Okay.
Okay.
Sat him down, hooked him up to a blood pressure cuff and, some electrostatic things just to kind of read.
Sciencey shit.
Sciencey shit. They wanted to see brainwaves. They wanted to see heartbeat.
Okay.
Had them do a word puzzle with their iPhone or whatever phone they use with them. Okay.
But they can't use the phone to do the puzzle.
They don't use the phone to do the puzzle.
Okay.
But the
have
iPhone
to use
is
their
there.
brains.
Yeah.
Got it.
Then they would come over and be like, hey, your phone is causing a little Bluetooth interference with the test. Let me just take this. I'll put it on the other side of the room.
I used to use that trick. When I worked I used to sell tickets. We used to always say, oh, your phone is causing interference. We were lying.
Tickets to what?
I sold tickets to the Hollywood Bowl. I sat in the box office and I sold tickets to the Hollywood Bowl. 7 years I did that job.
What did you tell people their phone was interfering?
Well, you
with?
have the little headset on that has the little speaker through the window.
Oh, okay.
And then people would walk up and they'd be like, do you have any tickets in the front row? No. Do you have any tickets in the center? No. I have these tickets for you. Okay, I need to call my wife. And then you'd be like, you motherfucker, you're going to sit here while 200 people are standing in line behind you and you're just going to call your wife on the phone? And then I would say, you don't get to do that. Your phone interferes with my Bluetooth. You have to move to the side and let the next person come up. And they never argued with that. They just did it because it was some stupid reason that was a lie.
That's so funny. Yeah, this is kind of like that.
In science.
Where they super lied and they're like, your phone is interfering with the test. And they would move it away and then have the person take the test again. Mm-hmm. And without their phone around, the people had higher stress levels, had a higher blood pressure, and did more poorly on the word puzzle.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
We are addicted to our phones.
We're addicted to our phones. Holy shit. This is it. This is scientific proof.
I'm gonna write a headline.
I gotta break my phone in half.
Let's
I gotta
do
go
it.
live in the woods and churn butter because fuck technology. It's destroying who we are. Here's the thing that they put down in paragraph 4. What they did after they removed the person from their phone was they called it. So the person could hear the phone ringing across the room. Here's why that fucks with the test.
So their blood pressure went up when they heard their phone ring and were not allowed to answer it.
Yes. It's not that, they were far away from their phone and so their test results were bad. It's that, shit, that could be anybody.
Maybe there's a problem I need to handle.
Maybe that's my wife. Maybe that's my job. Maybe that's...
I don't think this word problem is as important as a potential emergency.
Turns out that when we sat somebody down to do a word puzzle and turned on the fire alarm, they didn't want to sit still and do the word puzzle. Turns out they wanted to know what the fire alarm was about. Fuck this test and fuck them for framing the results in the way that they did.
It's kind of surprising. Well, I guess it's not surprising anymore. We should be used to this at this point, that the headline is more important than the actual data.
Oh, for sure.
Because we get this over and over and over again where these stupid fucking clickbait stories that are, technology is bad. We did a study. And then it's like, well, the study seems completely slanted to get a certain result. There's no human being. It doesn't matter there was a cell phone.
Yeah.
If there was somebody in the other room going, Anthony!
I'm trying to take this test.
Anthony!
Remember, Mr. Carboni, you're not allowed to respond.
Anthony!
Okay, but I just want to take the test. And
Anthony!
Okay, he sounds like he's in pain.
Anthony!
That guy knows my name, and it sounds like he's in pain.
No, Mr. Carboni, we need you to finish the word puzzle. You have to come up with 3 things that rhyme with orange. Anthony!
Headline. Human beings codependent. Too self-centered. People are so preoccupied with what other people think about them that they can't take a test. No, that motherfucker was screaming my name. He sounded like he was in pain.
Yeah.
You replace this with a doorbell. Replace this with, your kids playing outside.
Telegram. There's a telegram for you. I'd prefer to read what the telegram is rather than take this test right now.
It looks important. They never send the red ones. Jeez, I'll just leave this here, mister, if you really don't want to read it. Red ones usually mean dead people. Gotta go.
Oh, man. Yeah, it really is only tangentially related to cell phones. There may be some kind of point to be made about the fact that we are never unreachable, and the fact that someone's calling us means I should be reached because I'm never unreachable.
These things never take into account, or at least the people writing these stories or reporting on these things never take into account. A fundamental part of human nature is always be on the lookout for fucking trouble.
Right.
That's how we're built.
Yeah.
That's how we're made. Something that doesn't fit into the pattern, something that needs your attention, something that could potentially pull you away or be dangerous to you is always going to stick out.
Right.
That's why you go into a weird, like, half sleepy state when you're driving to work. You know how to drive to work, and then you hear one car horn, one screeching brake, one weird thing or see a weird thing on the street, and you're back.
Right.
It's human nature. We get distracted. We are made to be distractible. That is how we fucking survive. Are we more distractible than we ever were? That's what these tests should be looking for.
Right.
But they're not doing that.
This seems like one of those tests that was set up to prove an already existing thesis.
Sure.
We want to show how people are addicted to their cell phones. So let's create a scenario in which we're pretty certain that you're going to be freaked out that you don't have your cell phone.
We want to show that mothers are addicted to their babies.
Yeah.
By holding their babies over a Shark Tank.
Yeah. It's so strange. The headline is, mothers can't handle it when their babies aren't in the same room with them. We took these babies into an adjacent room where there's a Shark Tank. And had
a lot of rusty shit.
A closed circuit video feed where the mothers could see what we were doing to their babies. They were very agitated and wanted us to give them back their babies. Mothers, why are you so attached to your babies?
Yeah, try to be your own person. God. Yeah, the thing is, the thing that I want to know, why are we so desperate to prove technology is a problem?
Yeah.
Why is that the thing that we want to confirm?
I think there is a sense, and it's really permeating fiction right now. Every friggin' action movie has the bad guys are getting to you through your cell phone. They have a global network that's going to use all the cell phones to push a button and your brain explodes.
Yeah, but Batman can also get to you through your cell phone.
Yeah, but that's not even a good thing, right?
It's not a bad thing. Batman just wants to help.
But Morgan Freeman's like, Batman, this isn't good, bro.
Yeah, but we only think it's not good because Morgan Freeman's saying it in his Morgan Freeman voice.
Right. They put that in the movie, though. They've got Morgan Freeman's voice to say that.
I don't know. I feel like if Batman wants to see... The problem is, in real life, nobody's Batman. Nobody's as trustworthy as Batman.
Yeah, that's right, Anthony. Just keep on believing
You
that.
wish. You wish you were Batman.
I need to go somewhere real quick.
You could be Plastic Man. You look a little bit like Plastic Man.
I'll take it.
No, yes, we are worried about surveillance. We're worried about that. But this goes beyond the worry about surveillance and hacking. This is just the existence of technology is changing us into terrible people.
But don't you think there's this sort of sense and worry about that because it happened all so fast and it became so ubiquitous that we all have these things now and everybody's worried that they're sending beams into our brains that are frying us and giving us cancer. And
I think that's the story of life since, I don't know, since everything. I mean, the written word is going to ruin our memory.
Eli Whitney, your cotton gin is the ruination of all mankind.
It's just separating cotton. I don't see how that's gonna. I mean,
oh, listen to him. He's got excuses galore, doesn't he?
It's not really an excuse. It's just the function of the machine. I don't really see why we need to be tied up in all this cotton stuff.
You know what? Before we had the cotton gin, we lived perfectly normal lives. Yeah, my kid, he's got the gout, and I think it's from working on the cotton gin.
I heard if you stay too close to a cotton gin, you get cotton fumes in you.
Oh, yeah. My sister, Janice, she died from cotton fumes.
See? He's got a sister who died from cotton fumes. He said it, and he's right there, and I can see him. Guys, cotton is just cotton. It doesn't matter if a machine separates it or a human separates it. It's just cotton.
Yeah, but I think that cotton gin has been listening to my conversations. Yeah, that's right. I was talking to his sister, Janice, and everybody seems to know that I have a crush on her.
Janice dead, Janice?
Yeah,
you have a crush on her now?
Well, she's still very pretty.
Okay, that's weird, and I'm gonna blame it on the cotton fumes. Because that's my friend, and I refuse to admit that he is weird and crazy. No, this has been the refrain since everything. The written word is gonna destroy our memories. Maps are gonna destroy our sense of direction.
Yeah.
Watches and clocks. We can't have a clock in City Square. If we have a clock in City Square, everybody's so preoccupied with what time it is, they're not really focusing on their day.
Yeah. Calculators. No one will ever have to know math again.
Well, I don't know any math.
Oh, me neither.
I don't know a fucking thing about
Do you remember
math.
that time when we tried to do long division for that thing that we did and I didn't know how to do it?
I passed out because if I try to do long division, I stop breathing. I don't know why. And they even gave me a calculator in high school, and the first thing I did was ruin it by installing that weird Final Fantasy knockoff on it. They gave me the graphing calculator.
Oh, yeah.
And you install Final Fantasy, and it unfortunately, it keeps everything, all the variables for battles in your lists, and it fucking ruined my stats homework. I nearly failed statistics.
I know how to
because I refused to delete it. Because I was getting really close to the end of that shitty Final Fantasy game. I had a Game Boy.
Yeah, but that thing is also a computer.
That's
so let's use
also
that.
a game. Yeah.
I know how to use a calculator. If by use a calculator you mean write boobs on it.
That's how, yeah. That's,
I think
of course,
that's
absolutely
what everybody means
that's
when they say use a calculator.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I can write boobs and boobless, but boobless takes me a couple tries.
Yeah.
I got to figure it out in my head.
Because sometimes
again.
I read it backwards.
Yeah, and it's like you turn it upside and you're
crap.
like,
Yeah.
So no, I don't think technology has made us dumber.
No.
No, but for real, that's been the refrain since the dawn of time, and now it's just, I don't know, our phone's just the latest thing? Is the internet just the latest thing where it's like, watch out, and then 200 years from now, everybody will be laughing. They'll be laughing at these articles.
Would you concede that technology
from their Wall-E chairs?
Do you think that technology
from their
is
nutrient tubes
more rapidly being like the ramp up of technology is quicker?
Sure, certainly throughout the 20th century up until now, yeah, there's been a ton of stuff just from electricity to radio to television to the automobile to the internet to air travel. Like, yeah, there's been more and more and more technology, but I don't think our reaction to it is any different. That's the thing. Because these isolated instances are happening faster doesn't necessarily mean that, oh no, it's worse. If you take them on a one-to-one, why be afraid of any of them?
Well, there's no worry that we can outpace our adaptation to the technology and that we out-technology ourselves. The technology is...
Until it tries to kill me, until it's smarter than me and tries to kill me, the answer is no.
So we got at least like 5-10 years. Tops.
Well, 5 to 10 years if you listen to Ray Kurzweil, 50 years if you listen to Common Sense.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I think until it's one of those things where, okay, well, there was an uprising. I have to admit there was an uprising. But that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about technology turning us into these mongoloids, these idiots who can't think for themselves and can't,
right?
It's like,
no, there's a part of me that worries about that.
Can't exist without their phones. Oh no! You know what happened before the phone? I'll tell you what happened before the cell phone, before the smartphone, before wireless internet everywhere. I just spent 3 weeks in other countries, right?
Yeah.
Here's exactly what would have happened to me before the smartphone. I would have been lost. I would have done half the things that I wanted to do. I would have eaten in a lot of shitty restaurants.
Right.
I would have known where to stay. It would have been a really, I still would have had fun. People still had fun, but I had a better trip because I knew what to do. I knew where to go.
I don't disagree with any of that, but...
Did I have a worse trip because I was mainly focusing on how I was going to Instagram the trip? Shut the fuck up, old people.
There you go. I mean, there's a part of me that worries about the sort of social retardation of the world in the sense of, all we do is interact through screens to each other. We can Bitmoji now. That's a plus.
That's a plus.
On the minus, all I want to do is Bitmoji. I don't really want to see.
And if all you want to do is Bitmoji, that's fine.
View.
Something that's really weird is we think because things are changing that they're bad, right? Like, oh, people don't hang out as much. That's probably fine. It's probably fine. Like,
there's a whole bunch of fronts of 7-Elevens that don't have people in them anymore.
Like, okay, you shouldn't lock yourself in a room and never see anybody. But that's always been an extreme. Mm-hmm.
Right.
You can point at technology as the cause, but that's not true.
Well, it enables it.
It enables it, but there's always going to be an enabler. For somebody who wants to retreat like that, I think there will always be an enabler. For somebody who has an addictive personality, there are things you're going to get addicted to. I say better Candy Crush or some free-to-play game than gambling at a legitimate casino. Maybe not by much.
Maybe not by much. At least there's a potential to walk away with something from gambling.
Yeah.
Candy Crush, you don't get shit.
I don't know. I just think that we have a tendency to overblow the changes because we only know the world that we grew up in. And the world that we grew up in is the way that we experience things. We know a little bit about our parents' world because of what they tell us and what they told us were the values we're supposed to have. Mm-hmm. But that all throws into the past.
Yeah.
And we have a natural fear of the future because the future is unknown. The future is scary. The future is full of little things that are going to disrupt our patterns and cause us to, maybe maybe a puma will kill us is what we're basically afraid of.
Right.
Is some sort of jungle cat is going to come down, some predator. And so because we don't know the future, we're scared of the future and we want things to be the way they have always been. I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that I hang out with people less if the people that I hang out with, like the few people that I do hang out with, I have a more meaningful relationship with, or I have a more meaningful relationship with people that are farther away that I could have never had a relationship with before.
It's a give and take for sure. But it reminds me of that.
Also, people suck.
Well,
but that's just personal. I completely sabotage my own case there.
It reminds me of that Douglas Adams quote that I love where he said, everything that existed before you were born is the natural state of the world. Everything that was invented before you were 30 is a way to make money. And everything that was invented after you're 30 is the end of civilization and ruining the world.
Yes, exactly. And that's all these studies are. And they're just somebody is making money off of this. Mm-hmm. Somebody is profiting off of this this baseless fear of the unknown. Fuck you. My phone's great. You know where I read your article? You know where you're about how my phone isn't great? You know how you're getting paid for the clicks from my fucking phone?
Right.
So fuck you.
What do you guys think? Do you think that this is the end of civilization of our phones? Or do you think that we actually are getting better with technology? Or is it a little bit of both?
Yeah. Usually you can tweet at us. No hashtag or specifics. Please just tweet at us. We just need it.
Yeah.
We need it to feel good about ourselves.
All I do is look at my at replies, and that's how I value myself, and it's all I do during the day. So just let me know.
I was about to call you out for something, but I'm not going to do it. I'm at A Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And hey, if you're enjoying the show, another way that you can make a meaningless interaction that's probably going to remove you from your very soul is to give us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever platform you listen on.
Yeah.
Don't leave a review.
No, there's really no reason to do that. Nobody reads them.
Nobody reads those, and like words, you can't leave a Bitmoji as a review.
Oh, if only you could.
Hey, you know what? Leave like a list of the best emoji that you know. Like leave some old ASCII emoji.
Or just describe the Bitmoji that you would leave if you could.
Yeah, like describe the table flipping emoji and all your other favorite emojis for us as a review. But don't review the show.
No.
But do give it 5 stars.
5 stars is important.
Thank you.